Dear listener, this is Editor Katie. Just wanted to give you a quick heads up that this episode contains references to sexual violence and childhood abuse. Take care when listening and enjoy the show. Hey, Jake.
What's the cover look like? Oh.
We're getting right into it.
Well, you said we're going to record the episode.
Yeah, we are.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody, to By Its Cover, a podcast where we pick out books by their covers, consume them, read them, and talk about them.
Yes.
I really thought Jake was going to fill in the gap there, but he just is sitting there smiling at me with a goofy
Now those awkward
smile.
gaps are recorded.
Am I going to cut those out? Nah. Editing effort.
Down.
No.
Stonks.
Hey, so today we're talking about a book called Sleep Tight by motherfucker.
That's not the author.
This.
That's Katie's frustration with forgetting.
Yes. J.H. Markert. And I sent you, since this is the book that I read, I sent you the cover
Okay.
to analyze or
Beep, boop, beep,
describe.
boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. That's my analyze song. Do you want me to describe the cover?
Yes, please.
All right, the cover has the title on it called Sleep Tights in white letters. They're kind of blocky font, sort of like the really cool S that you drew in middle school.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, that's the font style here. Red background, and in the foreground, you've got black house on rocky hill, looks like. Maybe stalagmites sticking out of the ground or something. It's all drawn in some form of opacity, so through the black you see the red. It's got a novel, just in case you were wondering what type of book it was. The author's name and author of Mr. Lullaby, and that's in yellow. Inside of the house, the only distinct thing, I think, inside the house, which is a 2-story house, kind of looks like a mansion, is that 3 of the windows have a brighter orange/yellow color shining through, as if a light was illuminating them.
Okay.
10 out of 10.
Red background, right? You got that?
Yeah, I said that.
To me, I never noticed this until you were describing it, and I'm sitting over here evaluating your description.
Judged.
It almost looks like it could be like stalactites or stalagmites or whatever they're called, but it also looks like the sky could be dripping red onto a hill.
Yes.
I didn't notice that before, but it almost looks like blood.
Yes. Ooh, it's
Cool.
raining blood.
It's raining blood.
And for our Puritan listeners, raining blood was one of the omens, the bad omens, when...
Hey listener, Editor Katie here again. Just wanted to let you know that what Jake is about to describe here is more likely a description of the movie The Prince of Egypt that we watched when we were children. All right, let's get back to it.
The Egyptians were enslaving the Jews.
Yes.
And Moses showed up and said, "Free, let my people go."
Was that Exodus?
I don't know. And then they said, "You need to murder your firstborn and put their blood over the door. Otherwise, we're going to rain frogs, insects, and blood in the city." I think it was a lamb, though, not their firstborn.
Yeah,
if
maybe.
you didn't put lamb's blood over your door,
Then it was your firstborn?
then they were going to steal your firstborn.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there were frogs
Yeah.
everywhere,
Jumping all around.
jumping all around.
Yep.
Cool. If you know where that comes from, let us know.
I think we're the only ones that would ever know. Okay.
We're tricking our listeners.
Don't tell them. Trick or treat, everyone.
Welcome to October. Chaos. Cool. So yeah, I picked this book. I don't remember why. I think
By its cover, obviously.
Obviously, I picked it by its cover. I did the audiobook. I read it via audiobook.
Consumed it.
I think I picked this because I liked the cover. And I was ready for a horror book. It's been a while, I feel like, since I've read a horror book. And I was like, oh yeah, this is available now. It's an audiobook. It's horror. It's got a pretty cover. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I read it. Okay. So this book, I get my notes here because this book was chaotic.
Oh no, she's got notes.
I got notes.
The last time Katie had notes, it was the atomic bomb making episode.
What episode was that? What was the name of that episode?
Atomic bomb making episode.
Sure. I don't think that's quite right. Nuclear or something. Age of... Whatever. Listener, you can figure it out probably.
But Katie's got notes.
But I got notes.
And listener, something I just realized about my sister, she and I write notes on used pieces of paper or mail or whatever we have laying around. We both do this.
Yeah, this is like not the first iteration of times that I've
I have
this.
lots of paper at home that looks just like this.
That's so validating.
Yes.
I thought you were going to look down upon my notes.
No way, we both do this.
So funny.
All my work notes are on like the back
Scrap
of an
paper.
insurance pamphlet that I got in the mail that I'm never going to use.
Yep, there's that torn envelope over there I forgot to throw away. That's a good...
Yep.
Good
if I need to
notepad.
shred it anyway, I might as well
Right.
write all over it.
That's right.
Okay.
Don't waste the paper.
Anyway, back to the book.
Okay, so this book follows main character Tess, who is now an adult. She's a detective. She has a daughter named Julia, and her husband, who she's currently like kind of separated from, is Justin. I wrote down the names. That was the main point of this because I couldn't remember the names. And I see you over there. Why are you laughing already?
I'm so sorry. Okay, so sometimes your brain is listening,
Yeah.
and then you try to remember something. And I was trying to remember the title of this book.
Sleep tight.
Sleep Tight. For whatever reason, what popped in my mind was Strangled Straight.
That feels like some kind of like horrible gay therapy. Like,
I just thought to myself, why, brain? That's not the title of this book.
It's definitely not.
I'm so sorry, listeners. This is not Strangled Straight.
This is
Although,
tight.
now I'm going to go see if there's a book called Strangled Straight.
Yeah, please let me know. Actually, can we just find out right now?
No, let's keep going.
Damn it. Okay. All right. So, at the beginning of this book, you're kind of like, you follow Tess generally throughout the whole book. Is the main character. But she is kind of following the news about a serial killer who has been, I think, in jail for like 20 years or something. And it's his execution day. And you start realizing like that she has some kind of emotional connection or history with this serial killer. And so it's a big day for her and she's stressed out. She drops her daughter off at school. Her name's Julia. She doesn't want to, be dropped off at the front of the school, so she drops her off a little bit down the street, and there's tons of kids there, and it's like no big deal. You find out that she's separated from her husband because he cheated on her with a work colleague or something, and there is some amount of guilt that she carries, I think, for that, and also because she was like way involved in her work. Like, it sets her up as this like really involved in being a detective kind of person and married to the job and not nurturing a relationship. Whether it's her fault, I'm not here to say.
Hey, you don't need to nurture relationships if you're married to work.
That's right. Just get those extra good ratings on your performance evaluations.
That's right.
Keep
Giant corporation Acme would love it if you were married to the job. Be loyal to your company, and they'll repay your loyalty.
This sponsorship brought to you by
Acme Corp.
Oh, God. Oh, that's hilarious. So she calls her, sometimes she calls her dad. Somewhere, it's like all in my brain, this is all first day, but it might be first 24 hours. Like, she might have called her dad that night and then dropped Julia off at school in the morning. It's a little hard for my brain to remember. But her dad and her mom are at this cabin, and he's like, "Did you watch the news?" And she's like, tried to avoid it or whatever. And he said that the guy who was killed or executed, his name is Father Silence. That's what they call him. And he tells Tess that he finally said something before he was executed, and he wants to talk to her about what it is. But they're not going to talk about it that night. She drops Julia off at school, and then somewhere during the day, like, her parents were killed. Like, it starts off, like, real fast.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, her parents are killed. So her father was the detective that arrested Father Silence, like, 20 years ago.
Ooh.
Right? Plot thickens.
Yeah, on his execution day.
And on his execution
This gives
day,
me Joker or Batman vibes.
yeah, I could see that.
Where Joker's in prison and the city's blowing up anyway, and they're like, what the hell's happening?
I could see that.
What's that famous line? What was the real name of Half-Face? Two-Face.
Harvey Dent.
Yeah, he's, where's Harvey Dent?
Where's Harvey?
Yeah, where's Harvey? Punch, punch. Where's Harvey? And the city's blowing up.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
I love that.
Father Silence.
Anyway,
Joker.
Father Silence, so he's killed. But then all of a sudden, some weird shit goes on, right? Like, Julia is missing. The same day that she finds out her parents were murdered, brutally murdered, which is actually the same day, basically, that Father Silence was executed, her daughter Julia is kidnapped. We later learned, like, from school. Like, she never made it into the school.
So now Tess is Liam Neeson.
Yes.
Okay.
Now Tess is Liam Neeson. And she's working together with her husband, Justin, who is a psychologist. He has a doctorate of psychology, researcher, all that jazz. So we've got detective psychologist duo as parents here. And it gets pretty involved pretty quickly. She's digging through the murder scene of her parents, and she finds these tapes that her dad did. Like, her dad never let go of the Father Silence case because what was it about? There was something about it that he couldn't resolve. And because Father Silence would never say anything. But on Father Silence's deathbed, he says, like, beware the one who got away.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so that leads, when Julia, so when Julia gets kidnapped, she's got this information now throughout the day, like, beware the one who got away, but also she gets a phone call from the person who kidnaps Julia and, like, starts getting, like, really big hints, like, and he's giving her hints on how to find Julia.
Who is?
We now know he's called the Outcast.
He's the kidnapper.
The kidnapper.
Okay, so the kidnapper is leaving magazine clippings.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
They're like phone calls or clues. He leaves eyes painted at the scene of crimes, and they're pointing somewhere.
So he wants mastermind Tess, to figure out the puzzle.
Yes.
To figure out where Harvey Dent is.
Yes.
Okay.
Harvey Dent being Julia.
Yeah, Liam Neeson is solving the puzzle to find Harvey Dent. Yes. Okay. Sure.
This has gotten to be a really fun analogy. So then she goes on this master hunt to find, and they end up interviewing. Their first clue leads them to an inmate. He's not really an inmate. He's technically a patient at a psych ward. He's been kept in handcuffs in a cell for years and years and years, and they think that he's the one who got away. His name is Noah, and you quickly realize that he has multiple personality disorder, and they get to go and talk to him inside the cell, and it's very clearly a prison and not any kind of, like, helpful therapy or anything like that. But it gets pretty weird pretty quickly. He turns into the character that, or I guess one of his personalities is called the Outcast, or very much has the same demeanor and outward traits as the person who took Julia.
Okay.
But Noah has been locked away in this asylum for years, and so there's no possible way that it could be him, right?
Well, but, obviously it's not Noah, it's Outcast.
Right. But he puts on sunglasses, and he becomes very, very violent. And, like, the sunglasses is the
personality.
Clue. Right, yeah. So Justin, the psychologist, ends up spending a lot of time with Noah trying to figure this out and going through, like, different recordings and, like, just trying to find these other personalities. It's just there was a lot going on in this book, which is why I have notes. It was almost too much going on because there was at one point where I was just like, okay, I need to pause and figure out, like, wait, what?
Which is great, by the way.
Which is great.
That's a key to a good mystery thriller book.
Yes. In the meantime, Justin has, over time, continually hinted to Tess, like, you know, she feels like he has been nagging her for a long time about her memories and her memory loss and how she doesn't have these key memories in her life. It indicates some kind of serious trauma. But, you know, over and over again, she's like, you know, Justin keeps telling me about da-da-da-da-da, right? Like, she's obviously doesn't want to hear about it, don't want to interact with those. But they start coming out in this whole mystery as well. You know, she'll just have blackouts and remember something. And then it's like they're simultaneously chasing after her memories while chasing after Julia and this person who stole Julia. And so the city that they're in is called Twisted Tree, and she left Twisted Tree as a child. And you start to realize that something happened to her in Twisted Tree. First, she has memories of, I think the guy's name was actually Pritchard, the Father Silence, of going into his house and, like, playing Scrabble with him or something.
Oh.
Or having tea with him. Yeah.
Did her, okay, I'm going to guess.
Okay.
Did her dad, was she abducted by Father Silence and her dad figure out clues and then arrest Father Silence?
No.
Okay.
Nope. She wanted to be a detective so badly and always wanted to be part of her dad's work.
I have another guess.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
She's the one that figured out that Father Silence was a serial killer and told her dad, and her dad arrested Father Silence.
Yes, I think that was accurate.
Okay.
Yes. And so she starts to believe that her daughter is being targeted because she had a role to play in Father Silence's arrest.
As a child.
And then subsequently his execution.
Was Tess the same age as Julia?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, right around the same age.
This is like revenge.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
It could be, that's the way they perceive it for a long time.
Yeah.
There's also a cult in Twisted Tree now called the Lost Children. And they're a bunch of satanic worshipping crew, like, I don't know what the word is, cultists. And they think that they know who took Julia and that it's one of these lost children. And these lost children wear, like, animal masks, and there's a lot of, like, really interesting imagery around, like, sheep bleeding and, like, weird. And there's a lot going on. At one point, they end up going to arrest somebody or investigate the house where they think Julia is. And this is one problem I had with the book, is that the satanic worshippers were very much like stereotypical. It was just like, it felt stereotypy. Like they all had lots of piercings and listened to heavy metal or whatever and had lots of tattoos. Like, it was just...
what you'd expect.
Right.
Like 1970s through early 2000s.
Perception of...
Lost Boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So I had a little bit of a problem with that. Like, when they walked into the house and there was satanic music blasting, I was like, what is that? What is satanic
Obviously
music?
Metallica.
Right. Obviously. But they don't find her there. And then the story, like, the plot thickens. So the house that...
It could get thicker?
It can get thicker, yes.
Wow.
Okay. So Tess also has a drinking problem and then relapses with her opioid problem.
This plot is so solid.
It's
like you try to eat the yogurt and it's frozen.
You just wait for it to melt in your mouth.
Ah.
But yes, it gets thicker. So and all of this is kind of weaved in together. So Noah's mom, I think Noah's mom used to lock him in a cabinet called Noah's Ark when he was bad.
Okay.
Okay, so that's early on in the book. But also, the house of Father Silence was empty for a long time, and it was purchased by a lady that I don't remember her name, but I just wrote down Crazy Lady. Her name's Crazy Lady for this.
Okay.
Okay. She seems very normal at the beginning. You're like, they ask her about what she knows, and the lost children sometimes, vandalize the house or whatever, and she's just like, oh, these children. But you suspect early on that she's involved. So somewhere in this big plot, we find out that lady is actually a friend of Father Silence's. They were in
Noah's mom.
No.
Okay.
Okay. No, I thought that maybe that's where it was going.
Okay.
But no, she and Father Silence were friends. They were in the same orphanage, and Justin goes to the orphanage to talk to one of the nuns there who had her tongue cut out at some point years ago.
You mean talk at?
Yeah, well, they write notes.
Oh, okay.
She writes notes, and she was never wanted to talk until Father Silence died. So, all these things start to happen after Father Silence died. But she tells of, I think her name was Diane, and Pritchard were friends, like thick as thieves, and Diane was super into satanic stuff, and unfortunately, though, she got raped at some point, and also they ran away from the orphanage after she killed the guy who raped her, and she cut out the nun's tongue to say you'll never speak of this or whatever, and she runs off, and her and Pritchard are not seen again. But I just don't even know where to go from here. There was so much. So that's the history of the Crazy Lady. We find out they're the same person. Okay. So she's not never heard of the guy or anything like that. And then she's got this crazy backstory where her grandfather suddenly killed all the animals on the farm and then killed himself. And somehow that's related. It's all about putting the animals out of their misery because they were sick or something.
Okay.
And then Father Silence, the people that he killed, he did so to put out of their misery.
Okay.
Okay, so the way that he was caught was that he kept stealing things from the priest at the church and dressing like a priest and everything. He was a janitor there. But he, as a child, consistently brought animals to the priest to put out of their misery.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, this one got hit by a car, this one, just very suspicious stuff. And then as he got older, eventually they figured it out that he was taking children.
Okay.
At some point he switched from adults to children. Okay. Which is important. It's related to this whole big, thick plot. Okay. Noah, which is, quote unquote, for most of the story, the one that we think got away. He was the only one who survived the last killing of the children. So he had not drinking the poisoned wine or whatever, and all the other ones did, and they died. But he was rescued. But not long after he was rescued, he killed his father very, very violently. And you find out that his father and his mother were abusive, right? And he's got a bunch of alternate personalities resulting from his trauma.
Yeah.
So somehow the outcast, Noah's personality of the outcast, has some kind of connection to the real outcast that actually took Julia. They are two separate people. Okay. Which I had a hard time, how does he know what's odd, right? But the one who took Julia, his name is Benjamin, and he ends up being... Actually, can you guess who Benjamin is, based on this information?
Listeners, do you know who Benjamin is? Yell into your phone or radio.
I didn't hear him.
I didn't hear him either.
Dang it.
Maybe we need to do a Blues Clues dance.
Oh, no.
Blues Skidoo, you can too. I didn't hear him
Nope.
either.
Nope. Didn't hear him.
I'm going to guess Benjamin is either Crazy Lady's son, or Tess's son, or Father Silence's son, or the nun's son. He's the son of somebody,
Yes,
obviously.
yes, that's right. Your first guess was right.
Really? Okay.
Okay, so he's Crazy Lady's son. And he, she never wanted to look at him or anything like that because he was the result of rape. And Father Silence, I think, had some kind of hand in his upraising. And so Father Silence and Crazy Lady are killing people around this time. And they start kidnapping children so that Benjamin have children to play with.
Okay.
As he's growing up. And then they kill all the children to maintain their innocence.
The kidnapping innocence.
Yeah.
Not the murder innocence.
Right.
Okay.
Right. To maintain, like, their innocence as children. So they... And this is the way that Benjamin grows up, is kidnapping children who are outcasts in society. So they're, like, from orphanages or... like, were not cared for by their parents or in abusive situations.
To put them out of their misery.
Yeah. Their parents, his parents, Crazy Lady and Father Silence, put them out of their misery. So in the meantime, Tess is remembering pieces of this thing, like going to the house when, like sitting in the police car when her father goes in to arrest Father Silence, and then seeing a boy run out of the back in a animal mask, and she's running after him, and that ends up being Benjamin.
The one that got away.
The one that got away is not Noah, it's Benjamin.
Well, it's also Crazy Lady.
It's also Crazy Lady, yeah. But then the plot thickens even more because Benjamin, right? Yes. So Benjamin and Tess, I think they were at Twisted Tree, like at the Twisted Tree that the city is named after. And some teens in town are assaulting this girl and trying to assault Tess or something. And Benjamin had a hammer and Tess kills them.
Tess kills them?
I think so. She had a hand in it.
Okay.
Of killing her assaulter.
Tess and Benjamin kill the assaulter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're friends.
It was foggy. Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, don't you remember? She doesn't remember, obviously. She's got these big memories.
So let me take another guess.
Yeah.
Benjamin, the kidnapper of Julia, Tess's daughter, is trying to make Tess remember their origin story.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And his goal is to prevent his mother from killing more children.
This is awesome.
I know. It got really, it was hard to explain, but it got really strange, right?
Yeah.
It's a very complicated plot. And, he didn't want to kidnap Julia and the other kid that he also kidnapped. He kidnaps children, but he does not hurt them. His mother is the one that kills them. And he doesn't want Julia to get killed. And Julia doesn't really fit in this because she is loved. She's not abused. She
just has a connection to Tess.
She just has a connection to Tess.
So Benjamin did it on purpose.
Right.
To end the cycle of Crazy Lady.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, I think that they forced him to kidnap Julia.
Right.
But he did not want to kill her or any of the children. And you find out that the reason that Noah actually got away is because Benjamin, as a child, told Noah not to drink the wine. Okay. So Noah was saved by Benjamin, who nobody knew existed because he ran out the back. Right? And nobody knew that the other lady was involved in this either.
Right.
So, there's this big end scene basically where Tess catches up to Benjamin, the outcast, and there's a big satanic gathering. I think she's actually kidnapped and she ends up there in the gathering, tied up or something, and then Benjamin comes in to save her. Final scene, Crazy Lady, lots of satanic worshipers doing a ritual, and I cannot remember what the fuck the point of the ritual was because that didn't feel fully filled in. It's just kind of there's a satanic ritual.
Yep.
What is going on here?
No need to fill that in. Also, Noah escapes at some point from custody and he's gone.
And Benjamin he rescues the children, he tries to get away. Julia comes back with Tess. The agents that are there think that Benjamin is going to hurt the children, but she has realized at this point that Benjamin's actually a quote-unquote good guy, that he's rescuing the children, and she tells him not to shoot, but Benjamin has a hammer, and Benjamin ends up dying or getting shot. And then at the very end, Justin gets a note, like a pen pal letter from Noah, aka Oscar, aka Ruth, who were children that were actually like in this house.
Oh no, it was collecting personalities.
He collected their personalities, and they were victims that Father Silence killed. But he gets a pen pal letter saying basically like, thanks, I'll always think positively of you, or something. Thanks for helping us get away, or whatever, and like and that was like pretty much the end. They get back together, everything's happy.
I wonder if satanic rituals, let's lean into that for a second.
Okay.
The spirits of those children were being collected by Noah and being produced as personalities.
You think Noah was involved in the satanic stuff?
No. Like, you know how people, in some stories, some people are more clairvoyant than others?
Yeah.
Maybe Justin was like a clairvoyant anchor that happenstance put into the other children around him, and then they died, and instead of their spirits going to wherever they go, they went to Noah instead.
Oh, interesting.
Noah's Ark.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting. Yeah, this story was like, I might have to go back and read it again, because there was some things like I felt like I missed.
I honestly, okay, I'm not typically the one to read something after a spoiler, but this book feels like something I would actually go read, because it feels like you could read it more than once.
Yeah.
And you would be able to pick up new things every time that fill the holes,
right.
The subtleties, the specific word choices, the comma instead of the period, right?
I will say the imagery in this was pretty fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah, there were some, I can't think of an example right off the top of my head, but there were some really, really, like the author was really good at imagery and descriptor words, and like just creating like a ambiance or environment. Like
sort of like, what was that book that we read? Grayson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was good at that too, that author. So yeah, I mean, would I recommend it? It's good fun. It was good fun.
Good spoopy book for October.
Yeah, I think it was a good spoopy book for October. I don't think it was the best horror story I've ever read. I think there was a lot of plot. Maybe the plot was a little too thick.
Okay.
But overall, like, happy with it. It was fun.
I mean, the plot was very thick enough to be a full season Netflix series.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
One episode you find out that Julia's abducted. Another episode you find out that Justin believes that Tess has nascent memories, or whatever it's called, right? Latent memories?
I think that's the right word.
And another episode you find out about Crazy Lady, right?
Right. And that is how it was kind of written.
Okay.
So I could see it easily being converted to a screenplay. Mm-hmm. I think it could have been more than one book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you love those books that could have been more than one book?
Yeah, they're a lot of fun, and in a fun way.
Yeah, they're fun, right? You wish that they were more than one book.
That's right.
Because you wanted more time within the story.
Yes, I wanted more time within the story.
To consume it and soak it and feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
My brain needed a little bit more time for the amount of information that was presented.
Which is the opposite feeling of, oh my God, will this book just end because there's nothing here?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally opposite feeling. I'd rather have this feeling than the other one.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it was a lot of fun. I love the incorporation of multiple personality disorder. I'm a big like psychological thriller kind of person. I love that kind of stuff, and so I didn't expect that going into it. I am not quite sure where the sleep tight comes from. I didn't like
Sleep Tight.
Yeah, the title of the book.
Oh. I'm stuck on strangled straight.
You're like, what is this? What does sleep tonight have to do with it?
Yeah, it's like Shadow Ninja Killer.
Right.
For the life of me, I can't remember the name of it.
What was it? Shadow, darkness.
Yeah, Shadow Darkness. The Way O Shadows.
Yes, it was The Way of Shadows.
Yeah, and I want to call Prairie is now the book of fairy tale. For whatever reason in my brain this morning, it's called Prairie.
Because of the prairie that you see when he comes out of the
Prairie
tunnel?
is close to fairy.
Good reason. Good reason.
My brain's not functioning all the way this morning.
Don't blame you. It's been a long week.
Oh, it's been a week.
But yeah, anything, I don't know if I missed anything in this.
I think you did a fantastic job. I'm unbiased. My sister is amazing at retelling stories when she has notes. I think this is really
when
great.
When she has notes. You know, what is so funny is that those couple times that I had notes, you were like, you were way too prepared for this.
Okay. When you were describing the exact kilometers that the people rode and a number of strokes that they took in the Iceland book, I was like, that's a little over-prepared.
Oh, I don't know. That was, I think, totally relevant to the story.
They stroked their oars 50 times per minute.
I don't think I did.
No, you didn't. I'm giving you a hard time.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
it was like a month in a rowboat or something. And the distance was incredible.
It was good.
I defend.
Look.
I defend my stance.
As a human, nothing is perfect, right? Everything can be better all of the time.
But what I'm hearing is that I'll do notes more often.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Be yourself.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always myself.
With notes.
Be yourself with notes. I mean, do notes if you want. Be yourself.
Yeah, it's like the...
with the notes.
Yeah, it's, do what you want, but I'd really like it if you did this thing.
There is a favorite line I have in a song, and it's a verse, and it says, "Take your time, hurry up, choice is yours, but don't be late."
Yes.
I love that.
Exactly.
That's what this is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to mimic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else about this book you want to know? Are you going to read it? It's spoopy. Spoopy season.
I think I'll probably read it after spoopy season because I want to read some original spoopies.
Yeah.
So we can talk about them on this podcast.
Heck yeah.
Because I didn't read spoopy books.
Yeah, we're probably not going to get to the...
It'll be December.
When you're hearing the spoopy books.
Which is honestly perfect.
It's great.
You know what? Let's change our minds. We should read only Christmas caroling tales now. So that when they come out, it's December.
Okay, I think it would be fun.
A snowy caroler murder.
Well, I mean, there is some really good Christmas horror out there.
I just don't like Christmas.
I have a graphic novel I would love for you to read. Would you
Okay.
read a graphic novel that was spoopy?
Sure.
It'd be perfect for Christmas.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have it physically here?
I do.
You want to read it right now?
Yeah, it's my...
On the air? Oh.
No.
Okay.
But we can do that.
You want to read it on
seriously,
the air?
but it's
I have an
my
episode
favorite.
where you and I read a graphic novel on the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have another book that goes along with it I would love for you to read.
It sounds like I have my
spooky.
books chosen for me.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I mean, you might see the cover and pick them up and be like, yeah, these are great. I want to read these.
I definitely believe you.
Yeah.
Because I did gravitate towards Scorched Pepper Hamster and Beowulf.
Scorch Pepper Hamster.
What was her name?
Scorch.
Just Scorch.
Hedgehog of Doom.
Hedgehog of Doom. All cylinders today, baby. I'm firing.
Jake, what's our next book?
Dune.
Dune. Did you pick that out by its cover?
I did, kind of.
Okay.
I have always seen the cover, and I've always not wanted to read it.
Okay. Well, I guess should we say goodbye to our listeners and recommend that they go to the Patreon?
Yeah, and I want to change our outro.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
Yep.
I like our bye.
Yep.
Aww.
Cut.
Vetoed.
No, like, cut is in cut. The mics.
Just cut them.
That's it.
I don't know, man.
Anyway, bye.
Okay, ready? Cut.
Cut.